Hello, my name is Clarissa Tejeda, and I'm the Assistant Director of Career Services at the Mays Center for Experiential Learning and Community Engagement at Texas A&M University San Antonio. Now, today I get the privilege of talking to you about professional branding. It is a personal favorite of mine. I think it's one of those topics that is just so easy to overlook, unfortunately, but is so critical to our professional and personal growth. Having the opportunity to really look within and to kind of audit and self-reflect on, well, what is it that I am known for? Do people know I'm good at this? Am I reflecting that out into the world? I'm excited that we can have that conversation today. Also note that this session is part of A&M San Antonio's Hired Student Employee Professional Development Program. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so before we deep dive into the content, let's take a moment to text at least 4 people in your personal network. This can include family, friends, previous supervisors, teachers, classmates, or even coworkers. And what you're going to be asking them is, what is one word you think of when you think of me? And if they're asking, hey, why are you sending that? Just let them know it's for a professional development opportunity. And later on in this session, you will actually get to see why we are asking this all-important question. So go ahead and take a moment, pause the presentation, and go ahead and send out those text messages. Now let's talk about branding. A brand is a collection of perceptions in the mind of a consumer. So it's our feeling of what separates a plain cup of coffee to, oh, I got coffee from Starbucks. It's how we feel towards that experience. What is the reputation of that brand that makes us feel a certain way, right? Why does it feel a little extra special to have that Starbucks cup instead of that basic cup of coffee? Okay, so let's talk about some of those large-scale brands. Now, the 2 questions we'll use to kind of structure our conversation for this will be, first off, what are some words or descriptions that we associate with these brands? And then also, what have the organizations done to convince us of that? So, first off, Google. What is it that you think of when you think of Google? So, from my perspective, what I think of with Google is that they very much have been a trailblazer in regard to technology. Now, that being said, is that it's really exciting to see where they're a verb at this point. So say if you don't know something, well, hey, did you Google it? That is demonstrating the fact of how strong that brand is. Now, another thing, though, within Google is that they really have been ramping up their inclusion angle in regard to their brand. The initiatives that they host every month, the designing of their logo, where they actually feature specialized maybe holidays, populations, even just general news stories. They're really trying to outreach to all types of consumers. Also, the fact is that they do be mindful of niche populations, such as veteran and military affiliated individuals. So, for example, Jobs for Vets. That's an initiative that they launched about a year or 2 ago, in which individuals that served can actually do a job search where they put jobs for vets, and they can search based on their occupation code in which they served under. At that point, Google will actually bring a civilian listing of all those current job openings that align directly to that occupation code. So it actually allows the veteran to have a much smoother transition in regard to their job search. Now, another thing is Disney. So what is it that you feel when you think of Disney? Now, going back to the kid in me, I will say Disney very much is one of those things that you get fantasy, you get innovation, you get experiences that you probably would have never even thought of in your wildest dreams. Now, that is not only from the actual movie production angle of Disney, but also even in regards to the parks. Their actual parks very much live that brand. Every one of their characters will not break that persona to make sure that our guest is actually getting the Disney experience, that they live in, well, what this fantasy looks like. So they very much also are living that brand that they've developed so much in line to what the consumer is meant to feel. Okay, so you may be asking yourself, do I really need to have a brand? What is the purpose of it? Is this really going to make an impact? Well, I'm hoping this image really does show the power of having a brand. So on this shelf, you're going to notice three options of black beans. One from Great Value, another from Joan of Arc, and another from Bush's Best. Now, between the three, which one have you heard more widely available via marketing? Meaning, which one have you seen commercials for? So, I'm guessing it's probably going to be Bush's Best. So much so that you probably know their spokesperson, in which that is Duke the dog. And you've seen those commercials, which are pretty entertaining, I will say, from a pet lover myself. Now, with that branding and that markability, you're going to notice the difference on the pricing. Now, are you asking yourself, well, would people actually pay for that? Yes. People will actually pay for a brand because if it's a brand they trust and they feel comfortable with and one that they know they want to have in their home, they're willing to pay that 92 cents, which is a 20-cent difference from the generic. Now, how does that actually align to a personal brand though? So if people know what you're about and they know that they can count on you for certain things and you have a great reputation out there, they're probably going to come to you and really give you a chance to show yourself and to go to you in those really critical moments. So having a brand that is trusted is pretty critical to your growth as an upcoming professional. This is such a powerful quote, I think, from Jeff Bezos, that he's stating your brand is what people say about you when you're not in the room. Isn't that both a really truthful statement, but also one of the most terrifying things that we may think of, right? So there is some merit to that, which is why, FYI, when we started this presentation, I asked you, go ahead and text 4 people in your personal network and ask what they think about you. Because sometimes we don't do an evaluation to really align to say, well, the brand that I'm wanting to create is one of maybe innovation, creativity, collaboration. But am I really living that brand? We do have to question that. We do need to kind of audit ourselves to make sure our actions are actually in line to what that brand is wanting us to do. So I think this statement is very much in line to what our presentation is going to be about today. Okay, so let's talk about this idea of personifying branding. Now, on the screen, you have Oprah Winfrey. Now, what are some things that you think of when you think of Oprah? So, personally, from my perspective, is that when I think of Oprah, I really do think of someone who is a servant leader who really does try to transform the lives around her. Where how is she making the community outside of her own better than it was before? So I'm really a fan of, again, how strong she is and how she really just tries to activate other people's talents and their strengths. So let's look at that again, back to that concept that was previously highlighted in the slide, saying, okay, so personal branding is what people are saying when we're not in the room. So Oprah is not in the room. What are people saying about her? The first quote: I absolutely love Oprah Winfrey. What a great woman and a great businesswoman. She seems to really campaign for an expansion of global consciousness. I think she's phenomenal. Again, they're alluding to the fact that she's wanting to improve the world around her. Again, transforming lives around her. The next quote: Oprah Winfrey is a big role model for me, from a business capacity and a creative capacity. She is an incredible interviewer who cultivated a certain style by inserting her personhood into a show on national television at a time when no one was talking about empowerment, spirituality, or our inner lives. Wow, that's pretty impactful, right? So they're saying the fact that she was a trailblazer and she was one that really did bring a voice for an area that wasn't recognized before. So again, they're recognizing the fact that she is wanting to, again, build those around her to give a voice to others. So I think this is really kind of signifying, so, well, hey, is Oprah living that brand? Because we're seeing a trend in both of these statements, the fact that she is very much about empowerment. So let's look at Oprah's brand. Is it aligned to this? So her own branding statement: to be a teacher and to be known for inspiring my students to be more than they thought they could be. Again, while she's not a formal classroom teacher, a lot of people really do learn from her actions, and they do look to her to activate their talents, to really say, well, what is my next step, and to kind of grow from there. So again, based on those quotes that we just saw, Oprah is very much living her brand based on the words and actions that she portrays out there in the world. Also, the fact is that people do trust Oprah. You actually now have brands who have been launched based on her buy-in. For example, Dr. Phil. Thus, knowing that Oprah was associated and she trusted, she really did transform and kind of launch him into a career. Now, Michelangelo said, "Every block of stone has a statue inside it, and it is a task of the sculptor to discover it." Isn't that a really profound statement? The fact that we all have this fire potential into us, it's just a matter of us taking the time to really have some personal reflection and investment on, again, our personal growth. So your task today is to discover and develop those things that make you unique and to define your personal brand. And what we'll be going over are some questions to kind of guide you into this thought process. Again, this is going to be a journey. Don't expect to have the final statement where you're going to be lived by at this very moment. This is a starting off point. This is meant to be your rough draft and have it evolve with you as you grow as a professional. So let's go ahead and get started on that. Okay, so let's go back to those texts. Let's see what they said. I'm hoping some good things, right? So, first off, do you like what you see? Do the statements that they're saying back to you, does it resonate with you? Is it something that you thought other people assumed about you? And also, what brand have you created based on what is being said about you? Are you consistent with the different types of relationships you had? Again, when you texted your friend versus your coworker versus your family, did they all say kind of the same trend of strengths that you had within yourselves? Or maybe did one side know you a different way? Does that matter to you? Also, how is this going to be complementing that professional brand that we're going to be building? Now, again, taking the time to do a self audit, it can be an intimidating process, and I certainly understand that, but it is so important to ask for feedback from those around us because sometimes they also may recognize, well, hey, did you know you're really good at problem solving? Maybe myself, I didn't know that within me. I didn't see that talent, and it's good to hear from someone else so then you could actually start to embrace it and recognize, yeah, I am talented at that. Now, the questions that we'll be using to actually shape your personal brand today are the following. What are your goals? What do you value? What are you passionate about? What motivates you? And what makes you remarkable? Again, this is a lot of self reflection. This is some big picture things. But taking the time to really say, well, what is it that I do want to accomplish with this brand? What is it that I want to be known from other people? This is going to be one that we want you to take the time to really invest in it and to really kind of reflect on and say, yeah, this is who I am to this core. Okay, so on this slide, what I wanted to provide you today is kind of a breakdown on what are some of the skills that employers are looking for. Now, again, you may be asking, well, why should I care about this about my personal brand? Well, a lot of times your brand is probably going to feed into, well, who you are as a professional. So if you know you already have these natural talents and these competencies, making sure to actually highlight them in your brand is probably going to be a great marketable opportunity for you. Now, the source for this is actually from the National Association of Colleges and Employers called NACE. Every year, this organization actually surveys employer partners to ask, what is it that you want from these college students? What is it that they need to have to make sure that they could get hired post graduation? So when we look at this survey, automatically we're noticing critical thinking, problem solving, teamwork, collaboration, professionalism, work ethic, and communications kind of being on the forefront. Now, if you know you are naturally talented at those and those are really strong points and those are part of your brand, making sure to actually put that into your brand statement is going to be a critical move for you. And being able to actually articulate that out to others and to demonstrate that on a day-to-day would really make an impact on your employability down the way. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started on writing that brand statement. Now, to help you get started, I actually am going to provide you with a fill in the blank template. Now, don't be constrained by the language. This is simply just a starting off point for you. Again, the point of this session is that you have a rough draft here and that you can build off of it as you progress throughout your professional development. So we are really excited to offer that opportunity for you. Now, the statement. I use my natural talents of blank and my blank skills to have an impact in the area of blank. Let's think about that. What are the areas that you're naturally drawn to? And what are things that you're just naturally really great at and you bring out every day of you as a student, a working professional, a friend, a partner, whatever it may be? So, mine. I use my natural talents of connecting with others and my coaching skills to have an impact in the area of professional development. So this is more geared to my professional brand. This is what I really do resonate with on a day-to-day. I love connecting the dots for people, and I love coaching them through those really critical conversations to make sure that they could be that dynamic professional that I see the potential in. So I'm very much in line to that. Now again, students, don't feel like you have to go with this exact language. We just want to know what is it that you want to be known for. But this is a template to go off of, so this is actually part of your JAG Sync assignment. So FYI, pay attention to this slide. Now, as you progress into your career, there are going to be much more developed brand statements, which let's go through a few of those. First off, a collaborative leader who energizes and supports teams in developing quality end products. I want to work for that person. Isn't that really exciting? The fact that they want to help people and at the end, they want excellence there. A detail-oriented data guru who finds win-win situations through researching the how and the why. Again, really impactful. This person is identifying themselves as a subject matter expert and one who can find the win in any situation. It's pretty great. Shout out to my educator family here, a dedicated educator who stimulates curiosity and makes learning approachable and rewarding. Again, isn't that something that excites us? We're like, yeah, I want to have people ask why. I want them to not be afraid of that and for them to keep on trying to find answers. An out-of-box creator who exceeds expectations by being open and willing to challenge the norm. Again, that catalyst for change. Isn't that just like wow when we think about this? This is a really, again, developed brand. This is someone who really thought about this and has really kind of matured into what they want to be known for. And then FYI, this is actually mine. So I do see myself as a lifelong learner who I strive to ask questions needed to better understand the world around. That is something that's important to me. I work in a profession that having the opportunity to keep on learning is such an exciting thing. I love being able to read articles and to get to hear other people's stories and to kind of see, well, how could I connect the dots for them? What are other resources I can introduce them? And this is something I am very proud to have this as my brand, that I want people to know, hey, I'm going to keep on learning and I want you to share your knowledge with me. So when and where should you share your brand? Where do you think this is possible? Do you think it's just within your work environment on a day-to-day? Or do you have to pay attention in regard to, again, your online presence? that is one that we kind of forget about again. So sites such as LinkedIn is so impactful. Does our LinkedIn account actually align to what we want to be known for? Does it have examples of ways that we collaborated with each other? Does it have examples of ways that we've actually problem solved? Now, the nice thing is in this program that you're participating, if you are going through the hired program, the next phase is actually with Digital Legacy, and you'll get to learn how to build your actual online presence in LinkedIn to make sure it's aligned to your brand. So really excited for all y'all to take advantage of that. Now, the 4 rules to your personal branding, just so you're remembering of it. 1, be diligent. Again, don't lose sight of what you want to be known for, and making sure you keep yourself in check, it's pretty important. Be consistent. So again, if you say, I'm going to be known for this, don't let your actions change that. So if you're saying, I'm going to be known at being an effective team member, but then if you're leaving people out of the conversation on a consistent basis, are you really living that brand, or maybe do you need to revisit that? Be relevant. Again, going back to that slide of what employers are looking for. What is the need that you can fit? So say if your team does need someone with exceptional communication ability, and you know you have that, making sure to have that as part of your personal brand, really, really impactful. So making sure to incorporate that in there. And be yourself. Again, branding isn't meant to put a facade on. It's for you to be the truest that you can be, but it's also one to hold yourself accountable. Are there areas that you could be better at and that you want to be better at? Work at it. So your brand statement is really meant to kind of where you go back at the end of the day, say, this is what I'm going to do my decision making based on. So don't forget to know the rules. Okay, so I think this quote from Tom Peters really does give a synopsis of the importance of personal brand. So what Mr. Peters says is, we are CEOs of our companies, Me Inc. To be in business today, our most important job is to be the head marketer for the brand called you. Wow, right? For us to really be in charge of what we're known for and what people are going to count on us for is really impactful. And I'm hoping this actual topic is going to resonate with you. And you take the time to think about, well, how am I marketing myself to others? Again, do they know that I'm really great at this? Do they know what my brand is? And is this brand in line to what is important to me? So again, use this actual quote as a driving force in your reflection. Center, we have an actual step-by-step video guide on our YouTube channel, so make sure to check that out. Again, if you are participating in the hired program, the certificate is very much still online. We actually redid a lot of our sessions to a virtual platform, so this is the layout for it. You also do have some reflection assignments via JagSync. So make sure to check out JagSync for more information on each of these components. And we look forward for awarding the certificate to you. And don't forget to stay connected with the Maze Center. We're here to help you through your career journey, and we are very much focused on developing career-ready and community-minded Jaguars. Now, our contact information is Maze, M-A-Y-S, at tamusa.edu, or you can give us a call at 210-784-1356. Also, feel free to follow us on social media. We're really fortunate to have a great YouTube channel, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn, all at Tamusa Maze. So we look